I'm going to turn this over to Ian, and I know he's going to talk about referral. Who wants more referrals? No, okay. Who wants to just buy leads for the rest of their life? I should see no hands.
How
Okay.
do you know what I was
Leads.
going to ask?
Oh, I don't want to steal your thunder. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so Ian can take it away.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's a question we'll jump to in a minute, but it was really good, Amy, that you went over being unemployable because I'm the exact same way. I can't work for anybody else. And when you think about it, and I go through this with my team all the time, I know Kelly hears it like every single week, is that everybody here, we're all adults. And not saying that if you work a job that you're not, but if you think about school and the way school's set up and a job and how a job is set up, they're very, very, very similar. When you move over to do what we're doing here and you're working on your own, you're now accountable for yourself. You're responsible for yourself. Everything, your success is completely up to you. It's not up to anybody else. And so that's what I mean when I say we're all adults, we're all entrepreneurs, which means that if you want something, you need something, all you have to do is ask. I'll help you out. Amy will help you out. Anything I show you, I have no problem sharing it with anyone. I know I've helped Mary out, Nalene all the time. Anybody, anytime any of you guys need something, you can give me a call. I'm never upset about it. I'll help you out. And one other thing, Amy, that you were talking about before that we're happy for that, it's not just that we're happy when you guys reach out to us. We need it. We don't know who to work with unless you guys are reaching out. That's how we determine, like, okay, this is the person I'm going to spend time with. These are the person that we're going to give leads to, that we're going to send people to, that we're going to work with more one-on-one, is all based off of your desire level. That's it. That's the only thing that we have to go on. We can take the time to get to know each and every one of you on a very personal basis, but that takes a lot of time. So the fastest way, if you want to get in front of people and move quickly, is just to reach out, give us a call, and shoot us a text, reach out to us on Discord. And so that being said, everything that I'm going over, I'll be more than happy to share with you, but you have to reach out to me. That's it. That's the only requirement. You do that, I'll send it to you. I'll talk to you about it. One-on-one, whatever you guys want to do, just let me know. So back to Amy's original question, who wants referrals? But here's a better one. How many of you really do want to just buy leads and sell leads forever? Nobody, right? That doesn't sound like a fun job. That is basically having a job at that point. And what a lot of people don't realize is that even like Jesse, for instance, talks about getting leads all the time from the health side of things. He beats it in our heads. He told me that when I first started, like, you have to get referrals. You have to get referrals. This is how you get referrals. But they don't talk about it that much on the life side. It's the exact same thing, though. It's just there's a way to do it, which I'm going to go through, that builds on that. Because at the end of the day, yes, it is best to buy leads to get you going unless you have, a network like the queen of network Nalene over here, queen of the warm market. That's great, but probably even with this, she gets great referrals in that too. And so even if you buy leads, though, you can still get that type of referrals. And to put it in perspective, in 2023, I think I spent $1,700 total on leads. I don't buy leads that often, not anymore. I used to. But if you implement this and you're running this referral system, you won't really have to do it that often. The only time that you'll run into it is when you run into a loop. And this is basically where they start referring each other. And now you've pretty much helped everybody in the group, and then you have to expand out. So I'll share my screen and go over it. It's something that I picked up too off of just one of the YouTube trainings through Family First Life. Just out of the blue one day, just a random training I jumped in on, and they went over this. And it is a very good way to do things. All right, so. All right. So basically the concept of this, and I'll just summarize it and then we'll go through kind of the scripting. And this is somewhat script and somewhat instructions. So when you're going through an application, everybody here has gone through an application at some point before, right? Everybody? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So there's a part in there where they ask for the beneficiary. Most people kind of just skim through that. They get one and keep moving. But that's actually a great opportunity to get referrals because they can't see the application that you're doing. So what you can do is when you're going through and getting the beneficiary, you can ask for the beneficiary, their name and their phone number, ask for a secondary beneficiary, and then 3 emergency contacts. Now, it doesn't seem out of ordinary because if you think about most things that are health and life related that you do in real life, that's what they ask you. Like, who's your beneficiaries? Who's your emergency contacts? Oh, even when I register my kids for school, they ask for that. Who's the emergency contacts? Who's the emergency contact? So they'll give it to you pretty easily. I've run into sometimes where they only have like the 2 beneficiaries and 1 emergency contact. But the main thing is if you can think about it like this, you spend, let's say it's an expensive lead, $10 on the lead, and then you get 3 or 4 more leads from that, you're infinitely increasing your return on investment that way. And that's really what you want to do. And so once you get that down, and we'll go through this, what you do is you send text messages to your client and let them know that they need to forward that to their beneficiaries and then to their emergency contacts. So when they do that, they're already prepping the client for you or the referral for you. So then when you call them, you can just let them know, hey, my name is Ian Sanders. I was just talking to Amy, got her set up for insurance. She thought highly of you and made you her beneficiary. Let me go over what she has. And so we'll go through that in a minute once we go through this. And then you can go ahead and schedule the appointment with them. Sometimes they can go through it right then and there. But then the process just starts all over again. Once they get enrolled into a plan, then you can go through the same thing with them. Get 2 beneficiaries, 3 emergency contacts, and then you just keep that rolling and rolling and rolling. And so the funny thing about this, though, is I've trained people on this before. The most difficult thing about doing this is doing this. That's the hardest part. That's going to be the hardest part because this is so simple that most people won't do it. They will get to the beneficiary part. They'll get the 1 beneficiary, fill out that part of the application, and move on without getting those additional lead sources from them. And at the end of the day, if you want to be a really successful business owner, what you have to do is try to reduce your expenses. And the easiest way to do that is to reduce how many leads you have to buy. If you can run through and just do referral after referral after referral until you run out and then buy more leads and then keep running it that way, you can make a lot more money because referrals are a lot easier than trying to call someone cold. Even easier just to get on the phone because you can send these guys texts like, hey, I was just talking to Amy. She wanted me to reach out to you. What's a good time to call back? And they're like, oh, yeah, well, give me a call after I get off of work at 6. Super easy. And by doing that, again, you can keep the amount of leads that you have to buy down, and then your close ratio will go a lot higher too because you're already borrowing from the what am I thinking of? Relationship that you have with the person that you already signed up. So you already have the credibility. And if they either called them or they got the text message before you called, already a done deal. There's not much more that you have to do except, schedule the appointment and go through it with them. So we'll walk through this kind of step by step. Most of it is what we went through, but we'll just kind of dive into it. And then if you ask me for this, I'll send it to you. So take notes definitely so that you can get it in your brain because I know that helps me a lot. But then if you need it so that you can go through this again or I'm going too fast, then you still have access to it here. So again, when you go through the application, you want to collect their phone numbers and the names for the beneficiaries. Even if the application doesn't ask for that, you go ahead and do it anyway and put it in your notes. And then what you need to do is let the client know that once a policy is issued, you'll contact them, let them know, and then you'll reach out to their beneficiaries and emergency contacts to let them know the details of the information. So the thing about that though is when you call them, you don't want to get into too many specifics like, oh, they got, $200,000 worth of coverage. Don't do that. But explain the plan to them. Like, oh, they got life insurance. It also has living benefits. So if they get sick or something, they can pull the money out. Just in case they are unable to do that, you'll need to reach out to me and then I can help you make sure that they get taken care of. So it's kind of vague, but you're still explaining the insurance to them. And the thing about it is, if they've never heard of living benefits before, and now you're talking to them about it, now they're interested, like, wait, maybe they have life insurance. Like, wait, I have life insurance, but I don't have what they're talking about. And then we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on. So you get those two things from them. The next thing, or you get those from them. The next thing that you want to do is let them know, hey, I'm going to go ahead and send you these two text messages. The first one you want to send to your beneficiaries. The second one you're going to want to send to your emergency contacts. The funny thing about this is it's kind of rare that anytime I called somebody, they actually got these, but they will do it sometimes. Like, and sometimes it'll be after you already talked to them. But let's say that you schedule the appointment and then later on your original client sends this to them, that just further lets them know like, hey, I can trust this guy. So I would say, oh, so this is what they're saying. So they would say, Ian is my insurance broker. I just got a policy and you're my beneficiary. He's going to give you a call from, and then whatever number to go over the details. And pretty much the same thing as you can see here. Just got my policy. You're my emergency contact. He's going to call you from to go over the details. So the number that I usually use in there is just my cell phone number. I just call from my cell phone normally when I'm doing referrals instead of using Ringy. Once I get them scheduled in, then I'll tell them, okay, I'll give you a call from my business line. But that way I can just make this kind of static. And then when I get on the phone with them, I can say like, hey, yeah, the number I'm calling you from, that's my personal cell phone number. Go ahead and save that because that's always with me. So if something happens to Amy, you need to give me a call right away so that I can help you through that process. So then what you'll want to do is call the beneficiaries and emergency contacts right away. So this was something I had to learn the hard way, is not to put that off, because I would wait like a day or 2 days to call them. And for some reason, that just never worked. When I called them right after I got off the phone with the client, I think my success rate went up by at least 50%. And if I wasn't getting them on the line, at least they were getting back to me right away. And then the good thing about that too is, let's say that Amy gives me 2 beneficiaries and 2 emergency contacts. I call them and I'm not able to get a hold of any of them. I can just send a message to Amy right away, or just give her a call and say, hey, I tried getting a hold of them and I wasn't able to. Like, have you sent that text message to them yet? Can you give them a call and just let them know to give me a call back, or I'll give them a call back? And just like that, now they're in contact with you and going back and forth. And not saying that every single one of them is going to go ahead and get insurance, but what I saw as on average was with 5 emergency contacts saying that they did all of them, or 2 beneficiaries and 3 emergency contacts, usually at least 1 or 2 would move forward with something on average. I think one time I had like 3 out of the 5, which was pretty good. And then I think one time I had none at all, but the one that I signed up originally was 18. So, and I had already signed up their parents, so it didn't work. But that kind of stuff happens. All right, so now when you call them, it's really simple. And the way that this works, I'll kind of go through it in the parts and then explain why. So let's say we're going to say Mary. So, hey, Mary, this is Ian. You should have received a text message from Amy. Did you get that yet? And then she'll tell me like either yes or no. Or has Amy had a chance to call you yet? And then if yes, perfect. And then you move on. If not, then you just say, okay, well, I told them, so I'm sure that they will. Like, it doesn't really matter if they got it or not. You're just basically letting them know that they're going to get it at some point in time. And then, so she listed you as the beneficiary. So I just have to go over some of the details with you. I'll tell you what, she spoke very highly of you. That's why she made you the beneficiary. And so it was something that was very important to her to have in place, so that, and that's what she did for you guys. So this part right here, it's going to really depend on the relationship. So you'll also, when you're getting the beneficiaries and the emergency contacts, you'll want to know, is this your son, daughter, a friend, or whatever, because this is going to change a little bit depending on who you're talking to. Because if it's a child, for instance, their kid, then yeah, this is going to be in place. Like, this is what she put in place specifically for you guys to make sure you're taken care of. If it's a friend, then you might say something like, okay, well, it was very important for her to get this taken care of so that, there wouldn't be any burden on you guys to figure out what to do with her if something happens. Like, you can just kind of throw something out there. The great thing about anything that I write, you guys, is it's not meant to necessarily be followed word for word all the time. Like, you do have to put a little thought into it and change things up as you go. And a lot of it sounds like me. So unless you want to sound like me, you'll want to go through it and read it a few times and, practice it in the mirror a few times and make changes as you need to. All right, so really quickly, I just want to introduce myself so you know that I'm available to you and your family. If anything were to happen, feel free to reach out to me. She took out, an insurance, we'll say a final expense policy. And it says briefly explain the policy, not the amounts. That's in here too. So in case you guys forget. And again, like I said, you're the beneficiary. So like the way that I would do it is, let's say that it was just a standard final expense policy. I would just say, okay, she got a whole life policy that's going to cover her burial expenses, and then leave something, but we'll say it's like a 40,000 or something, and then leave something behind for the kids. And it also includes the living benefits. So what that means, that is, if she has a terminal illness, 1 to 2 years to live, there'll be money that she can pull out ahead of time to cover those things, and use it however she wants to. If it's something major like cancer, heart attack, stroke, she can have access to that money too. And then if she can't do some of the basic things like feed herself, clothe herself, bathe herself, she can pull money out on a monthly basis to cover those types of things. And so I just go over it really, really, really briefly, kind of the same way that I actually sell before I pitch, is very similar to that. Like, I would just review it really quickly with them. So save my number. It's going to be da da da. You can save it as, Ian Sanders, Amy's life insurance broker. That's how I have them save it, so that they basically tie me to Amy for one, because if she made them her beneficiary and emergency contact, I hope they like each other. That'll be the last thing, is like, I can't stand Amy. No, you guys are going to like each other. So at that point, you just say that you're their life insurance broker. And then as the beneficiary of the policy, we're going to be able to go over some of the same options with you as well. So by saying it that way, you're basically making it sound like not everybody has access to this. And the reason that they have access to it is because they were made the beneficiary by Amy. So from a psychological standpoint, it makes them feel like they're special. I'm not saying everybody's not special. I'm just saying, like, they feel special, like, oh, I feel special because she made me her beneficiary. And now because she did that, I have access to these extra things. And so now it's independent. So you have to get approved for it by yourself. So I can't really make any promises. So that's kind of, giving it to them and then taking it away a little bit. Because people want things that they can't have, and that's just the way it goes. If they think that they might miss out, was it the FOMO kicks in, and they're like, wait, no, let me go ahead and schedule that for you. And so basically we work off appointments only. I'll be able to schedule you in to show you some options for yourself, and then you schedule the appointment just like normal. So that is gonna be 100% up to you. Like, I like doing it that way because once they're referrals, the odds of, and you've gone through it with them, the odds of them actually showing up for the appointment was really high. I think I only had like 2 maybe that didn't show up. So I never really had to worry about just trying to close everything right then and there. And then it doesn't seem like you're desperately trying to close them in one call, which isn't good in this particular scenario. And I'll break it down like this. When you are calling leads, they filled something out and they've requested the information so you can one call close those. That's not hard to do once you learn the skill behind it anyway. But it's because they already filled something out and already asked for it. When you're calling these people, they didn't ask you for anything at all. So trying to one call close those, unless they're just like, no, I want to talk about it now, usually isn't the best way to go, because they're going to feel pressured rather than saying like, okay, well, you can't even do anything right now, but we can schedule an appointment because you're the beneficiary again. We can do this for you. But I only have time like Friday. What works better for you, Monday or morning or afternoon? Okay, afternoon. Okay, I have a 3 o'clock and a 5 o'clock. Which one works for you? Now you can set the appointment with them, and then you have systems to tie down and all those types of things. But that's basically the long and short of how to do that. With the emergency contact, I'm not going to go through it because it's exactly the same, except you're using emergency contact instead of saying the beneficiary. And so by doing that, what you're going to be able to do is significantly cut down on how many leads you have to buy, and then you can start mixing it in too. And then it doesn't feel, so when you do it this way, it makes it so that it doesn't feel so much like you're working a job and actually feels like you're a real broker. Because when you're just dialing, I don't know, how many people have ever worked in a call center where you're making outbound calls all day? Anybody? Am I the only one? Okay, Sharon, anybody else? I can't see everybody.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
saw
doesn't it kind
James
of
and
feel like that when you're just buying leads here and just calling them all day? It kind of feels exactly the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all you're doing is making calls and you're not closing or talking to anybody. Yeah, I know exactly.
Exactly, exactly. And so we want to get away from that because it's just not fun. And I'm sorry guys, I say it all the time. I'm here to have fun too. Like I want to make money, I want to help people, I want to have fun. And dialing all day is just not fun. But once you get a couple of policies put in place, you get those referrals going in, and that's really great because the good thing too is sometimes those referrals where you set somebody else up off of your original client, the client, because they've already given you names and numbers like that, and then you call them back and say, hey, you know what, I talked to, oh yeah, there's this last part, I forgot to say this. So once you go ahead and you close or get somebody set up after, like let's say I talk to Mary now. Mary signs up for a policy. Now I call Amy back and I say, Amy, guess what? Your beneficiary, Mary, I talked to her and she went ahead and she got a plan too. Did you have anybody else that you needed me to talk to? Because it sounds like you have some people that really need my help. You can go back and get even more referrals that way. And every time that you help somebody else out, you can go back to her and say, like, oh, guess what, Amy? And the more that you do that, the better Amy's going to feel and want to keep sending you people too. And so by doing it that way, you can significantly, like I said, cut down on how many leads you're going to have to buy, which is great. And then you're going to increase your income that way too, because these are a lot easier to get pushed through than going with just cold calling. And then I hate to say it this way, but these people normally are a lot more honest about what's going on in their lives too. So you don't have to worry so much about, chargebacks and things like that. I don't think I've had a single one charge back. And if they did, it was because of a legitimate reason. Like they called me and said, like, oh my goodness, I lost my job. Can we do something later? I was like, yes, let's go ahead and get you on an accident policy so you have something in place, and then we can go ahead and move you back onto the plan once you're ready to go. So, doing it this way is going to be great. But it's only for those, though. I'll say this. It's only for those that want to work more efficiently, have more fun, and make more money. If you don't want to do that, then you should not use this at all. Just
I gotta
saying.
look at the faces here. Is anybody saying, oh, it's not for me? I don't think so.
Just saying. Just saying, guys. Just saying.
Awesome.
All right. That's what I got for you guys.
That was great, Ian. Anybody have questions for Ian? I should hear one question like in echoing from this group, I think.
I have one question.
Oh, here we go.
Is that ever happened to you when you talk to the client and they don't want you to talk to the beneficiary because they don't want that person to know they put them as beneficiary?
Sometimes. Yep. Sometimes that will happen. And then what I do is I'll just say that I'm going to tell them that they're an emergency contact.
Okay.
And I just say like, yeah, I'm just letting them know and they're an emergency contact. So if they do, something happens to you, they need to know that they need to reach out to me. And then at that point, I can tell them that they're a beneficiary. Yep, that happened before once.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had people joke. I don't want them to know. They might get some ideas,
That's what they told me.
Yes.
Like,
That's
what kind of
exactly what they
beneficiary is
told
this? What kind of relationship you got there?
me.
All
Right?
right. I thought we were going to hear this question, Ian. Will you send that to me?
Yep, thought so. But
Maybe they're waiting.
maybe
I was
they're
gonna
they're
text.
like, you know what? We're gonna reach out to them on Discord. We're gonna give them a call because some of you have my number.
That's
Maybe I got a
mostly good.
text I haven't looked over yet. So I know a couple of them for sure are gonna ask.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that.